other views on it. Well, sometimes we need to get Mr. Bismarck Rewane. He's an economist. Let's get his view on what is happening. Mr. Rewane, thank you so much for coming on the program today. Look, with all of what the federal government and the Buhari administration says they've spent on welfare packages, trader money, monies to indigent Nigerians, and all of that. But from the report that we have on the figures that the promises that have been made and the figures by the MBS, does it tally? Are we on the right track?
I think what you have to understand is that spending money nominally and having an impact are two different things. Laulu Akonde talked about 2.7 trillion naira on infrastructure. If you convert that to dollars in an economy which is $400 billion in GDP in 1 year, you're spending less than 1% of your GDP on infrastructure investment. What we need to spend to get the investment multiplier is impactful. It's about 10% of GDP. So we have to spend 10 times that. So it's all right to say you are doing things directionally, but the impact is not being felt. When you talk about unemployment and underemployment, added together with inflation, which gives you the misery index, it is very high. Yes, things are improving. There's no question about the fact that things are improving, but it is not improving fast enough, and the impact is not being felt hard enough. So that is why the demand for good governance today is very high. People are screaming, oh, things are bad, or things could be better. The point is that there's what we call optimal structure. The economy is not yet in an optimal level of employment, output, production, and investment.
Mr. Bismarck, Mr. Rewane, give us an insight to this. The 2019 budget is not being presented. From the figures that we have right now, from the last MBS figures about the growth and inflation figures and the growth of the economy, what are your fears about the situation of the recession? Could there be a further slip?
No, there could be. You could slide back into it. Look, South Africa went into a recession and came out within 1 quarter. So I heard Laulu talking about how we came out, and we came out pretty quickly. It's oil production more than anything else. So the biggest fear are, one, we have an oil production budget based on an assumption of 2.2 million barrels a day. It is true that today OPEC is meeting to discuss output cuts. If by tomorrow they announce that our output has been reduced from 1.8 to 1.6 million barrels, then we are going to be in negative growth immediately, as far as that is concerned. So those things are outside our control. The things within our control are creating an investment environment which is productive and increasing investor confidence. That's what we need to do. Okay. And we need to do that very quickly.
Mr. Rewane, always a pleasure hearing from you. Let's get our final thoughts from Mr. Laulu Akonde. What Nigerians are expecting is that you said things are improving, but they want practicalities in their pocket, in the food on their table. In 30 seconds, let's close the program, Mr. Akonde. How would you give Nigerians confidence that your government can be re-elected or should be re-elected?
I mean, I think Mr. Rewane himself said it, that in terms of the direction, we are going in the right direction. And that is the important thing. You have a government that is committed to progress. You have a government that understands exactly what it is doing. You have a government that knows where the investments have to go. They have to go to human capital, which is why we are spending so much. And we intend to spend even much more in the area of social investment programs. And that's why we are spending in the area of infrastructure, building the rail, building the road, fixing the power infrastructures. So very clearly, Nigerians understand and Nigerians appreciate the fact that this is a government that knows what it's doing. And that even when we are earning less than we used to earn, see how much this government has been
we need to leave it at that. Well, we will get some other views on some of these, but we must sincerely thank you, Mr. Laulu Akonde, for clearing the air and coming to talk to us on all of these issues. Thank you so much for coming tonight on the program. Well, that's our show, everyone. For tonight, we'll get other perspectives on the development in the country in this political season. It's a critical one, isn't it? That's our show for today, everyone. Many thanks for being part of it. I'm Sean Wakimbale. Bye-bye.